Modified humans working on oil rigs? What the fuck? I'm fucking with these. Hold on. Um,
The idea behind this theory is that people who've been abducted or kidnapped, in most cases kids, are forced by their kidnappers to undergo plastic surgeries by underground plastic surgeons. The purpose of these surgeries is to change the kids' appearances. Doing this makes it almost impossible for them to be found, and the kidnappers don't have to worry about them being connected to
gotta go to
missing
work
persons
soon, so I
cases.
might end it after this.
This theory could provide a possible explanation for the amount of kids who've gone missing, but have never been found. If the kids were to have a different appearance,
Sounds like some X-Men shit. Oh,
then
that's
it would
true.
be hard for their families to identify them.
Oh, never mind, never mind.
Others claim
I thought they were like doing some crazy shit to them. They were just giving plastic surgery.
the idea behind this theory is that people who've been abducted or kidnapped, in most cases kids, are forced by their kidnappers to undergo plastic surgeries by underground plastic surgeons.
Bruh. They're not gonna be spending all that material, all those bands, all that money for kidnapped kids. Unless it's like high clientele. Unless they're like into like the slave trade. That would make a little more sense. Or what the fuck? Why would they? That doesn't.
The purpose of these surgeries is to change the kids' appearances. Doing this makes it almost
That sounds like some super duper rich type of cartel type of shit. Like that sounds like some high level crime syndicate type of shit. Someone with money, like a whole organization. You need a whole organization to do stuff like that. That's crazy.
impossible for them to be found, and the kidnappers don't have to worry about them being connected to missing persons cases. This theory could provide a possible explanation for the amount of kids who've gone missing, but have never been found. If the kids were to have a different appearance, then it would be hard for their families to identify them. Others claim that the theory instead talks about off the grid plastic surgery clinics, where the rich people go to extensively alter their appearance, as a way to escape their current life in social circles for whatever reason, making them vanish almost without a trace. The theory could also further be expanded upon, with claims that these underground clinics are used by the rich to perform things like bizarre body modifications on willing or unwilling victims, and that in some cases, these victims have escaped and attempted to expose them.
I don't know. That one seems a little too
RuneScape
much.
is a popular MMORPG. As such, there have been many conspiracy theories related to the game. One such absurd theory claims that the people in certain areas of
Those
NYC
kind
are
of
being
games you gotta be
controlled by
quick as
in-game
fuck.
players in RuneScape, and that New York City is an experimental zone, testing the digital control of populations. An Anon on 4chan alleged that he had heard this theory through another Anon.
What?
Allegedly, the Anon created network models tracking the interactions and social patterns of thousands of players across different MMORPGs, including RuneScape. After doing cross comparisons of the different servers he'd mapped, he found that how the players interacted across the different servers were fairly similar, all except for one server. In that specific server, instead of interacting with different random players, the users would interact almost exclusively with the same small group of players. Anon would use similar mapping methods to map the social patterns and interactions of residential areas in New York.
What?
What Anon discovered was that the data he'd retrieved from the residential areas synced up perfectly with those in the specific RuneScape server. If
What?
certain translations from real life to the game were made, wherein, for example, going to work in real life meant grinding in game, the distances traveled and travel routines also synced up. Anon did more tests on different RuneScape servers, cross-analyzing them with random residential areas from the New York data he'd gathered.
What the
He
fuck?
discovered that the data from these servers also linked up with New York in certain places. He tried using the data for different American cities and comparing it with other servers across several MMORPGs. However, none showed the same results.
Wait.
Anon then came
So like parallel universe type of
to the
shit?
conclusion that somehow real life people were being controlled by players in RuneScape.
Wait. What the fuck? This is the whole Matrix type of fucking conspiracy shit. We're just in a video game. We're just being played with. Shit.
Another variation of the theory is extremely similar to the one mentioned before, with a few differences. And this theory
The internet. I know it's wireless now. A lot of days, the internet. Of course, you need a main. You need a main unit that's lined and everything, right? I'm just thinking into the echo chamber in the atmosphere. All those signals, you know. Our brains produce electricity and signals as well, like any other. We produce electricity in our heads. We produce signals like a lot of other devices do. So I'm just thinking right now. Could we be seeking and influenced by those radio waves? Like right now, let me think. Let's say I turn my headphones on. No, no, that won't work. Hmm. Cause it, cause I'm sure devices have certain receivers too. Where like they only receive certain type of signals, special to each device, like headphones. Like I turn them on, they're not connected to anything yet. But how come like outside signals don't? Because there's, like I'm saying, there's we got those radiations, the microwaves, Bluetooth waves, all that shit, internet waves through the air. Imagine someone just tapping into those waves and being able to hack you or control you, influence you subliminally, consciously in your head. Now, the microchip, the Neuralink, sounds like the first steps of, being able to send photos into your brain, not into your phone, into your head, like memories into your head, video memories into your head, pictures into your head, right? But I feel like Neuralink is pointless because our brains are so advanced. Our brains are so advanced. Better than any computer, I'll say. Like, we just got to learn how to tap into them and how to use them. The human body is just the ultimate machine, the ultimate computer, if taken care of course, and properly maintained and everything. But I mean, there's ancient cultures. Some believe that we were able to telepathically speak to each other. We're watching a lot of Credo Mutua. He was getting into like, a bit of his Zulu religion and history and how, before, the beginning of Earth, we telepathically spoke with each other. We didn't need language. And it makes me think about dogs. Because I heard dogs, they tap each other on the head. Is that dogs? I heard dogs do that a lot. They tap each other on the head. I've seen people do it, like friends do it. They tap each other on the head and shit. When they're really close to each other, they tap each other on the head. I wonder if it's like transferring consciousness. I've heard stories of people taking shrooms, like friends. Who was it? I think it was Absol. I forgot who it was. It was a rapper. Who was it? I forgot who it was, but they said they took mushrooms. Him and a friend. Was it Mac Miller? I forgot who it was, but he said he took mushrooms with a friend and they both had the same dream, same trip. seeing the same thing. Like they went to sleep and they said they had the same dream and shit. Like weird shit like that. I'm just thinking like you get into MK Ultra, programming the mind. Cause you can program your mind. You program your mind. What you do, how you live your life, you're programming your brain, your habits, everything, you know? In MK Ultra, they experimented with this programming. They took advantage of this programming, the human brain and how it works and functions through addiction, drug. Of course, they use drugs and outside things to alter the mind. But I'm sure these people knew how the mind works. They probably know a lot more about the human mind than we do. I mean, the CIA, I'm pretty sure, FBI, I'm pretty sure the government in general done so much research on like psychics. Um, you get remote viewing programs during the Cold War too, spying on the spy era. Remote viewing as a way of spying on the enemy. Stranger Things gets into this with the whole isolation tanks, astral projection. They experimented a lot of that as well. Astral projection. So the human mind is the human brain, I'll say, because the brain has a lot to do with it, I feel. You know, it's producing that electricity, the nerves and everything. It's producing that, like the source of energy, you know? The brain's the battery and the heart's the engine, is how I see it. The heart's pumping, right? But you need the battery for the heart to turn on, for the whole body to turn on. This theory is very interesting. I can see how it being real. I mean, we look at the internet. It's kind of no different. Social media, video games. I mean, people are influenced by what they see, by what they hear. Not even that, by what they just glance at for a couple seconds, what they swipe by. You may not think it, but what you swipe, what you pass, what you ignore, you're not really subconsciously. Your brain is still processing what you're looking at. Like right now, I'm not paying attention to all these videos on the side, but my brain's still picking it up. It's still creating the image in front of me. It's still there, you know. I don't know. It's very cool. I like the idea.
It was rumored that a group of sociologists were examining different RuneScape servers, trying to learn how players interacted with each other in game, things like trading and socializing, to understand human behavior. Most of the servers had pretty consistent patterns with no real routine.
Sounds like AI. Could have they just been live inputting statistics and all that stuff? Like current statistics in the game and like stats and all that stuff and like this the shit he was just saying. Could they just be programming that into the game like on a consistent basis? Like on a monthly basis or however long it takes for it to like change? I don't know.
One server, however, was the outlier. The players on the server worked on an almost 16-hour cycle, associating closely with only a few other players, and always logged in and out at the same time.
What?
The players would almost always stay confined within the large cities and perform one or two activities each. One sociologist from the team noticed that the data from the players was consistent with that gathered from people who were studying in NYC, almost mirroring each other. So the conspiracy theory goes that some government agency, whether the CIA or something else, was using real surveillance data to recreate the real lives of people in NYC in the game, or that the player characters were some form of advanced AI, able to accurately predict and mimic real human behavior from the data gathered from NYC for some form of study or surveillance.
Like I'm saying, who's to say these computers, these consoles, these phones, who's to say they don't pick up signals that you don't expect they'll pick up? Energy, you don't expect for them to pick up, such as your mind. We look at this. There's been a lot of conspiracies where, like, the algorithm. A lot of it say it's the algorithm. You search something up, and then seconds later you get an ad for it, or you think of something, a product. You think of a product, a brand, and all of a sudden you open your phone up and you get ads. You constantly see images of it. Who's to say your technology doesn't already tap into your mind, into your signals your brain releases, the energy from your brain? Who's to say your phone doesn't already do that? Who's to say your technology back then didn't do that as well? If anything, it was probably worse back then because the technology was so raw and brand new, and the energy output must have been so unhealthy and crazy as well. I had a neighbor tell me that, like, Steve Jobs got pancreatic cancer, and he was like, he got cancer in that area because that's where he would be working at on the computers a lot, and they would be in that area, standing up, on the desk or working on the table, you know, waist level pancreatic cancer, like waist level and shit. I don't know. Aliens caused the plague.
Writer Gianfranco Degli Esposti.
I think humans. I think it could possibly be the earliest form of biological warfare. I forgot what time it was around. Let's take it up the plague. Let's see the kind of let's see the time period and where it hit hard. 1346 through 1353, like a decade nearly. Most fatal pandemics in human history. As many 50 million people died. Two pair. Black Death. Bubonic plague that occurred in Europe from 1360. One of the most fatal pandemics in Europe. This is like the Renaissance era. Really? Let's see. Spread by fleas and through the air. One of the most significant events in European history. The Black Death. Population, economic, and cultural impacts. It was the beginning of the second plague epidemic. Not necessarily a created plague, but biological warfare. Like, you just have a bunch of rats with the plague, and you just sneak them into a country and you just release them. I mean, that seems very, very plausible. Could have been the ops doing this, or sneaking rats through like cargo and all that stuff. Of course, it happened naturally with rats because rats are rats; they go everywhere. Of course, of European history, the Black Death is disputed. Genetic analysis approximately 7,000 years ago at the beginning of the strains emerging from around during the late Bronze Age. The immediate remain unclear, with some evidence pointing towards Central Asia, China, and the Middle East. China. I can't do it, but and Europe. Bruh, China always be getting thrown into the mix. The pandemic was partly first in Europe during the siege of the Geonosis trading of Kaffa and Crimea and the Golden Horde and the Johnny Bag. From Crimea, it was most likely carried by fleas on the black rats that traveled through Geonosis. Geonosis? Is it Geonosis or Geonosi? In Basin, reaching North Africa, West Asia, and the rest of Europe, blah, 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 Sicily. and spread from person to person. Thus explain the quick. There's a sudden surge of deaths in today's blah blah blah. But like, what was happening during the time period? Now this was the big thing going on, but like saying before the events leading up, I want to know the events leading up to it. Late Middle Ages, the famine, an estimate to have killed 30. Fuck. Middle Ages. Yeah, it's like the religious era. I want to say the Crusades were coming to an end. You know, I might say it's the Christian Crusades. The Muslims had to do it too. No, it was the Muslims too. They were on some shit. It was the Muslims. Trust me, they were on some shit too. They were out and about pillaging just as much as the Christians were. Between aimed at securing control over holy sites in the Middle East, particularly Jerusalem, Byzantine, and the First Crusade. Yeah, this was like around Crusades and shit. The most successful crusade resulting in the capture of Jerusalem and yeah, this is like the time period. Third Crusade. Nah, it's just coming to an end. More including the Fourth Crusade. Now I want to say there were other religions too getting a piece of this as well, or being thrown into the mix. Because I want to say in India they were getting involved as well with the Muslims and everything as well, if I remember correctly. These technology and ideas between two regions, however, they also result in significant violence, loss of life. To Muslims, military campaigns, there were complex events and events that intertwined religion, politics, and culture, shaping the course of history in both Europe and Middle East. Their legacy. Remember, guys, every ancient society, empire was religious. Religion plays a part in politics, at least back in the day. Religion was politics, put it that way. It was part of politics, politics was religion. It came from religion and all that stuff. Culture too. Religion was everything was because of religion back then. Everything was because of religion back then, guys. I'm not making excuses for, my fellow Christians, but I'm just saying everyone was on some bullshit back then. So yeah, this is like the end of the Crusades. Okay. And after the Crusades, I'm assuming this is when Europe became more a little bit more established. Then you got the East and Western churches. You got Islam going on down in the Middle East, in Egypt. Where else? A lot in North Africa as well. Let me think. Let me think if I have good memory. If I could remember what I've learned. See, we go from there. We get to the 1500s. You get into more or exploration now. Now we're getting into the world becoming more connected. Because then you get into the Spanish, traveling to Americas, the Europeans going to Americas now. Who else? Of course, they brought along slaves and everything as well, Asian and African slaves with them to the Americas. Um, could have been. It hit Europe. Let's go back to the Black Death. It occurred in Europe, which was mainly Christian from 1346. Let's look up the map. I want to see if it connects to religion at all. The Crusades. Let's see. It hit Asia bad. And they were into like Buddhism. I want to say Hinduism too was making its way, but like Buddhism. You know, they had their whole Confucianism and all that stuff. Asia, China, India too. Yeah, Hinduism. But look at this. Wait, now the Middle East got hit too. Oh, it got hit bad too. Look, I'm thinking right now, like, I don't think it was anyone intentionally doing it then. The Great Europe, Egypt. Yeah, they got hit hard. Yeah, the whole area was fucked. Jeez. Where did it come from? Let's go back again. Where did the Black Plague come from? Origin. So it's saying China, Mongol Empire, India, and Ukraine. For real? I mean, everyone's saying the current situation right now. We're looking at current modern pennies now, pandemies. The current pandemic. I mean, everyone's blaming, China. A lot of people blame China. But it's like, why would they do it to their own people then? Like, 'cause China got hit hard with the COVID as well. With the fuck, I can't even say that stupid ass word. Why? It's fucking why? That is. I'll probably get demonetized. This is so crazy. I can't even say that. Can I still say? Is it allowed to be said now? You're not even supposed to say it anymore. It's so ridiculous. It's like it's part of history. It happened. Just want to ignore it. Like it's so stupid. But like it just, I don't know. I mean, yeah, if they did do it, it's like I guess they infected their own to get away with it, to make it. Oh, we didn't do it. Look, we got caught with it. Did they handle it better? But they did way better than we did in the states at controlling it. Did they? Did they? Yeah, I think they did. I don't know. Because they got hit hard. Then you look at countries like Africa. I'm thinking right now. Africa was getting fucked over by Europe, bro, and the Middle East and China too, bro. Africa. Everyone forgets about the shit the world's done to Africa, man. But they're saying it didn't come from Africa. There's no origins in Africa. Where's the origin of the Black Plague? Um, North Africa. Brown rat. Bubonic plague. Let's look at this article. Where did it originally come from? I gotta go soon. Do I have to go now? I'm tripping. Fuck, I wanted to finish this. Thinking about the fucking plague though right now. Yeah, whatever. I don't want to accept you, you asshole. Guess I North. But where the fuck is it? Headstones. Kyrgyzstan. That's the Middle East, right? I'm assuming. Burial tombstones. Maybe it was used as a biological weapon. And the whichever country or whichever group of people used it didn't realize how much of an effect it would have. Um, let's continue watching it.
Mentions that reports in the time of the plague between 1347 and 1350 speak of cigar-shaped objects slowly crossing the sky, sometimes at low altitudes, dispersing in their passage a disturbing mist. He attributes the Black Plague to these objects.
Well, comment. Is he gonna get into comments? Foreign
Because immediately after
pathogens?
these events, the epidemic exploded in that area. A huge mass of vapors appeared from the sky in Florence coming from the north and spread throughout the area. From the east, in the same year, many animals fell from the sky, their decomposing carcasses causing the spread of the plague.
What?
There are no other documents or reports other than those written by Gianfranco regarding this specific theory.
Is that true? Is there actual reports of that? What the fuck? For real? I could see a meteorite. A meteorite. I said a comet. A meteorite. I could see that happening. Coming down to Earth. And some unlucky person just coming, or unlucky animal creature coming by and touching it. I don't know.
Another outlandish theory is the mud floods theory. According to this theory, in the 18th or 19th century,
Yeah, Tartaria
World-renowned
has to
mud
do a
flood
lot with the
occurred
mud
which wiped
floods.
out entire civilizations and covered entire cities.
They say the mud floods are responsible for a lot of the petrification that you find as well, like the trees or like supposedly there's petrified mountains, petrified animals, giant animals, snakes. The petrified giant elephant, which reminds me of One Piece, interestingly enough. Because you need, in order for something to be petrified, was it a heat? No, it's extreme pressure and weight. Extreme pressure and heat. And I'm assuming the heat and the pressure just creates heat, right? The pressure created heat. Same with the dinosaurs. They said the fossils for dinosaurs, like they wouldn't have needed to be covered up quickly to be petrified like that. Because if you think about it, like if it's just naturally over time sediment, They were saying like there needed to be like an event like the mud flood that created so much pressure, just preserving these animals, pushing so much weight quickly on them. Like that was the only way they were able to be petrified and be to last so millions of years in the ground. Cause think about it, like shit's wild. Cause if bones are just left on the ground over time, they're covered with sand and everything. I don't think they'll get petrified. And I think they like just break down and disintegrate into dust. Like they were saying, like they needed like there needed to be an event like that, like pressure like that, instant pressure, weight on top of whatever living thing, in order for it to make it the right environment to be petri. I don't know.
One such civilization which was thought to be wiped out was that of Tartary. According to this
Tartary.
theory, Tartary was a culturally and technologically advanced empire that spread throughout most of the world.
And they're saying that many of the American buildings, Capitol buildings, the World Trade. I forgot what it was. They had like this one place. They built it like supposedly in 6 months. Beautiful buildings, artwork, architecture, made of marble. Like it was called the World Trade. It was like an event or something, a World Trade Fair or something. But they were saying it was here before
And
Christopher
was
Columbus
responsible
and
for
shit.
most of the older and more impressive buildings that exist today. Things like the Great Pyramids, Notre Dame, and other structures couldn't have been built without advanced technology or knowledge possessed by the Tartarian Empire before its downfall. Supposedly, humans are now simply living in the remnants of the buildings left behind by this empire, after digging them up from the mud. The
Many of them have floors below. They're deeper than
evidence provided
or built on top of older
by
buildings.
people who believe this theory is that many buildings around the world have windows and doors submerged underground,
Exactly.
meaning that they weren't fully excavated. They also claim that there are various architectural similarities between buildings around the world, meaning they all belong to that
Uh
civilization.
huh.
The existence of the
And supposedly those balls on top contained mercury, and I forgot what they did to it, but like I guess they would like do something where it would create free energy basically. Like it was like advanced energy.
Tartarian Empire was, according to them, deliberately erased.
It's also other things like they would like your thoughts, your mind. Like I was saying earlier, your mind puts out signals and all that stuff, but it's a
From
whole
history
different thing.
by the elites that rule the world. On a thread titled Deep Sea Threat on 4chan's Paranormal Board, and Anon replied with this: "There are modified humans working on oil rigs in the abyssal zones of the deep sea.
That's crazy.
I've seen them. No one is meant to talk about it. They live in mechanical shells like barnacles. Inside, their body is just a blob with limbs that pop out to fix lines and do tasks. They have been bioengineered to live under there, to withstand the immense pressure of the deep sea.
What?
No one is supposed to talk about it, but we've all seen it. They have been bio
What the fuck? Just blobs? The blobfish type of people out there? They live in mechanical shells like barnacles. Inside, their body is just a blob with limbs that pop out to fix lines. What the fuck?
bioengineered to live under there, to withstand the immense pressure of the deep sea. No one is supposed to talk about it,
Show the
but
pictures, my
we've all
dude.
seen it. Considering the dangers of working on deep sea oil rigs, not everyone would be willing to risk their lives for such a job.
No
So having
way.
humans modified specifically to
So many people
perform
would have
such
came out with.
tasks underwater puts them above normal humans.
Unless they have to sign NDAs, that'd be
However,
crazy.
there's not much to go off of since Anon didn't really provide specific details, or at least proper images regarding his.
These are just examples? Hold up. What? I'm not really buying this. Hold up, stupid freaking. So they're small like that? They do look like they do like crustaceans out of their shell. Like hermit crabs. That's what I'm assuming they tried modifying them to look. What the fuck? Blobs? Where's that from?
Proposed theory. Another Anon proposed a slightly different theory, that above
What
normal
is that?
humans. However, there's not much to go off of since Anon
Whoa,
didn't
whoa, whoa,
really
chill, chill,
provide
chill, chill.
specific details, or at least proper images regarding his proposed theory.
What is
Another
that?
Anon proposed a slightly different theory,
Ah,
that
motherfucker.
instead of modified humans, there are creatures deep underwater that have evolved
Chill!
on their own to resemble humans. These creatures are attracted to the noise made by the pipes,
Fuck this.
seeking out another sentient creature to make contact with. There's so much we don't know about the deep sea. With the amount of reported sightings of strange creatures underwater, it wouldn't be surprising for there to be a creature living in the deep sea
I'm on a deer.
that bears resemblance to humans.